Hey everybody, Mr. Kevin here from HumboldtCraftworks. Today's video we're going to talk about how to stain your woodworking project. Yeah, because that's always important. I hate staining and I hate painting wood, but if you got to do it, you might as well do it right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to go over that and probably more because I can never stop talking right here on the YouTubes. All right, well here we go. We're going to talk about stains right now and the different types of stains. We're going to start with the easiest stain to put on, which is this, which is actually an exterior wood stain, sealer, blah, 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 Watco, exterior, one-step finish. It penetrates. You got to put 3 or 4 coats on there, but this works. It'll work for interior stuff too. It's a very waterproofy and will not crack, shrink, chip, or do anything, but it works pretty good, but it is very flammable. So this is the stain we're using for the curved cabinets of Bembo right here. It's a multi-surface stain, interior stain. I've used them for years. I really didn't like them too much because you can't really see through the grain as much as other stains, and I'll go over in a second. But Czar now has made it, they're getting better and better. And I'm using this stain on the curved cabinets of Bembo, and you'll see it's very awesome. Also, you want to be careful with your rags. This stuff will catch on fire. It's oil-based stain. This is a water-based stain. All right, water-based stains I know are getting better. This stuff, didn't like it so much. Every time you put stain on and you have to go, oh, I missed a spot, and you want to put a little bit on there and go over it again, it'll make it darker and darker and darker until it turns black. So you got to be really careful, and you got to practice with staining parts. Minwax. Everybody's seen Minwax, right? Minwax penetrating oil stains. Minwax stains are really good for penetrating the wood, as it says right there. This penetrating stain really gets into the wood. It's thinner than all the rest. Like if you hold this one up, and this one's heavier because of all the solids in it. This doesn't have that many solids. It's more oily. And it penetrates deep into the wood, which brings out the grain. And especially if you're using like a quarter sawn white oak and you want that grain to pop, Minwax is what you want to use. You don't want to use like the Czar because it doesn't penetrate as deep and it has like more of an opaque color. Yeah, this one is more like translucent. You can see through it and it brings out the grain. So penetrating stain, Minwax, not a sponsor. None of these people are sponsors. So after doing this for 30 years, I'm just telling you what I think. And yeah, so also you got to be careful with this stain because it will catch fire if you leave the rags out and pile them on top of each other. So this also you have to put in water when you're done at the end of the day. Make sure you don't leave any rags out. I've used this stuff for probably 25 years. Good stuff. All right, so now we're getting down to the weird stains, okay? Which one do we want to do first? I got 2 really weird stains here. Okay, we'll go over this one first. Okay, you got ready? All right, this is made by Woodcoat. Woodcoat. All right, this is a gelled stain. It says right there, gelled stain. I'll show you what it looks like. So gelled stain, this is black, El Blanco. What does it say? Oh, I can't say that on TV anymore. It's racist. But that color. Huh. Blick. Look. See that? It's a paste. It's gelled. Yeah. Look. See? And I'm going to put it on this piece of maple here. It just goes on like toothpaste. And you wipe it off. So gelled stains don't really penetrate the wood. They just kind of sit right on top. This isn't sanded or anything, but it just sits right on the top there. So the other one, which the label fell off, was a Minwax. Minwax makes a gelled stain also. So this old gelled stain's been around for a while. It looks like dog poop. Looks like somebody crapped on it. I'm not going to stir this up. Oh, fiddly-dee, there goes my phone again. Gelled stain. It sits right on top of the wood. It doesn't penetrate very far. And you still got to be careful with all your rags that you throw them in the proper place with water so they don't catch on fire. Now for the really weird ones, you ready? Dye stains. This is a lacquer-based dye stain. I think that's what it is. I've had these made up custom. This one is blue. And this one is a black. I'll show you what they're really watery. They're really stinky. Really stinky. These things are nasty. You'll see how watery it is. Watch. Yeah, super watery. Man, that stinks too. So we're gonna do the same thing. These are dye stains, and they're, man, they're really bad. Okay, I'm just putting it on with a stick. Wipe it off. See how dark that is? They use this on guitars, I think. Yeah, and this is really smelly stuff. Woo! So definitely wear a mask. And I got this one. This one's really cool. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. There's really not any solids in this thing. It's a dye. But it's good to shake them up a little. And I'm gonna actually make a jewelry box for somebody using this color shortly. Well, shortly. Shortly to me is 6 months from now. Okay, ready? Look at this blue. And this is super watery stuff. Super watery. Look at the color. Yeah, that's amazing. I built a table using this color. I made the legs blue and the skirt black with a maple top on it. Oh man, looked amazing. Look at that. Pooh, stinky. This stuff is kind of nasty. It does smell really bad. It's very watery. It's just like lacquer thinner. It's that watery. So be careful when you use this stuff. Wear a mask and have lots of ventilation because it's stinky. So there you go, dye stains. Yeah. You got a gel stain here. You got this dye stain, which is like, I think it's lacquer based. Phew, it stinks. And we got the blue, which is a really cool color. And this is on just an old scrap piece of maple. There's oil-based stains, water-based stains, penetrating stains, which are oil-based stains. You have lacquer-based stains like this guy right here and the black one. I'll give you a little Mr. Kevin tip right here. If you're putting on the lid and you've been using it for a while and there's stain everywhere and you don't want it to fly over the place, you know how it does. It does it all the time. Put the lid on the top, and before you nail it down there, cover it with a paper towel or a napkin or whatever, and then use a towel, whatever you got, and then put the lid on. Oh my God, there it goes again. Designers, they like to talk to people a lot. I want you to do the walnut top too. I know. So what I found is the best rags you can use are old t-shirts like this. I buy these by the box load, like 10 pounds at a time in a box. Sometimes you'll wind up with a kitchen towel. These will leave little fuzzy things all over your wood. That ain't no good because that sounds kind of weird too. The other thing you don't really want to use is microfiber cloth because that'll stick to your wood too. That ain't no good. You can use paper towels, and I do use paper towels every now and then to wipe things up. But not too often because it's a waste, and you really have to worry about them catching on fire because they will really easily. So usually like a white t-shirt or a colored t-shirt, anything that's like 100% cotton would be the best. The other thing I do is I put everything in a pie tin. You go to Costco or whatever, you get yourself a pie tin because you like going to eat pie, at least I do. You put a little water in the bottom of it and you throw your rags in there like that when they're done. Okay, you don't want to throw them in there when you're still using them. When you're done using them and they get all nasty, like this one's still pretty good, but you want to toss it in there. Or you could have one that's dry and just throw all your rags in there as you're doing it like this, just to keep them off of all your stuff. The pie tin, and then when you're completely done, if you throw them in a metal coffee can or something with water, soak them in the water for a while and leave them there for a day or so. Okay, what size rags do you need? Well, when I get all these rags, they're usually a lot bigger than this. I cut them down. And I use 3 different size rags. Okay, the first one is my number 1 rag. We're gonna just name them number 1, 2, and 3 because it's easier to keep track that way. Number 1 rag is this. This is my wiping stain rag. Number 2 rag is just for drying. It's a little bit bigger. It's like 12 by 18 or so. And my number 3 rag, which is about the same size, I use for holding pieces and parts. And we'll go over all this shortly. But I use basically 3 rags. So I'm going to go over a little bit of safety for your staining situation because safety is always important. Glasses are a good thing to wear. Even if you don't need glasses, you're going to need glasses. Put on safety glasses. The reason you want to put safety glasses on is because you don't want, if you get a little flick it and you get it in your eyeball, it burns like hell. And it'd be safer just to wear safety glasses. And the other thing, as you can see, which is very important, is you should be wearing gloves. You should wear the gloves. I use these 7mm gloves. I've used these for days now. I just keep taking them off and blowing them and put them back on. You don't want to get the stuff all over your hands. It's not good for you. wear yourself some safety glasses or spectacles like I'm wearing. Wear yourself a nice little apron just so you don't get crap all over you. And the other thing is, if you're using really stinky stains like these dye stains right here, you should wear a mask, organic vapor filtered mask. This is what I use when I spray catalyzed lacquer and all sorts of things. This is an organic vapor filter with a 3M mask. They're not a sponsor or anything. They're just what I use. I've used these for probably 20 years. 3M products work really good, and I keep it in the bag because it lasts longer when you keep it in the bag. Just remember that. So for safety, wear a mask when you're going to spray a bunch of stuff. Also turn on all the fans you can in your shop and have a door open or something so you can blow the stink out. All right, safety, boom. And I'm going to show you a couple of things I use right now. Brushes, a lot of different brushes. Some I use to get in nooks and crannies. Some I'll make pointy, like this guy right here, to really get in far deep because I have carvings I'm dealing with. These guys right here, I just use the back end to get some of the stuff out of the cracks. I use this brush right here. Basically, it's an old just 2-inch brush that I cut the top off of to make it stiffer because I want to be able to push the stain in, kind of like Bob Ross does, you know, load the brush up and push it in, and I'll show you how fast it really works. So brushes is one of the methods you can use to apply your finish. The other thing you can do is rag it on, where you just take a little rag like this right here, and you just dip it in the stain and wipe it on, and I'll show you how that works. So the rag on method, there's a brush on method, and then you can spray it. This is my tiny sprayer. Isn't it cute? All of my friends that have commercial businesses, huge businesses, always spray their stuff with guns. They don't brush it on, it takes too long, they don't rag it on, but they also have huge industrial strength finish rooms where it'll like when you walk in, you can feel the air going past you and all that. They spray this stuff because if you're in a small shop like I am, you start spraying stain, it's going to get everywhere. It's going to be on the ceiling and the roof and your hair and your underwear, all over your face, all over your shoes. It just, ugh. So I don't really do this I don't spray stain ever. Yuck, not good. So the curved cabinets of Bembo, I used 1 quart, a little less than 1 quart for the whole entire thing, and I still have some left. If I was to spray this with a gun, I'd probably burn through at least 2 quarts because you lose a lot. Helpful tip, I hope. So most of all this stuff I'm talking about is for woodworkers that either own their own little business or they want to get into business, or you're a hobbyist and you don't do this all the time. I do this all the time, so hopefully this helps. I don't like staining or painting wood, but I do because it's about the clients, not about me. So those are all the different applications I use to apply stain to my projects. You know, you can rag it on, brush it on, or spray it on. And I don't really spray it on, but you can. The last thing I want to talk about is how long you should let your stain sit on your project before you put finish on it. So in my opinion, it's best to let your project sit for at least 24 hours after you've stained it. So you stain it. I'll stain this stuff today. I won't start spraying it until tomorrow. And that's just the way it is. I'm spraying water-based polyurethane, which isn't as bad as spraying catalyzed lacquer. Sometimes the catalyzed lacquer will reactivate your stain and it'll start doing weird things. If you live in Arizona or somewhere where it's hot as hell, 12 hours might be enough. Hey everybody, how's it going? We're going to stain some stuff now, and I'll show you the different techniques that I use to stain my project. So the first thing I talked about earlier was the different rags. So we have our stain rag here, we have our wipe rag here, and we have the final wipe right here. And I have another one to hold with. And that's just what I hold parts with, like this, so I don't get the stain from my gloves all over the place. All right, so the first thing we need to do, before I show you anything else, is stir this up. I'm going to shake it up a little bit, but you should always, even if you shake it up like this, you won't get all the solids mixed up. So even after shaking it like that, you need to open it up and stir it with a stick, because sometimes the solids are really stuck on the bottom there. Okay, so we're going to mix this up just a little bit. That's pretty good. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rag on to this piece of wood right here, and I'm going to do this top first. So I'm just going to have some stain on there, and we're just going to stain it on just like you normally would, right? Take our second rag here. I have my hold rag here. We're just going to wipe this off. keep this as clean as possible because you don't want to get fingerprints all over the place because you start getting stain everywhere all over your hands and it's not good. So when I go to stain on things that are large like this, I always go across grain or I go in circles. And then when you're done, you go with the grain just to make sure it all gets blended in with the grain. Now we'll take our second rag number 2 over there. We'll just dry it off. It's pretty good, right? Now we're going to use the brush method. And we got this old nasty ass brush. But what I do is just a little dip. I might wipe it off a few times just to get it loosened up a little bit. Okay. Got a little bit of stain on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start down here like this, put a line, and I'm going to push in. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing down and I'm kind of flattening the brush, pushing down this way to spread the stain faster. I don't really brush with the tip like this, like you'd paint on like a paintbrush like this. I put it down and I push forward, and then I can come back and do this. Okay, can you see that better maybe? So I'm gonna go down like this, put a line, just put the stain, and the brush is loaded up with stain, and I'm just gonna push down and wiggle back and forth like this. And then you can come back this way and get it all out. What that does is it kind of pushes the stain into the wood. And it seems when this is loosened up, when this gets loosened up, it seems to push in much faster than ragging on stuff. It's just to brush it on. And we'll go like this, and I'll hold this back here. And you go around in circles, put it down like that. Around in circles like this, it gets in all the grain, and then go with the grain. This is the number 1 rag. Number 2 rags right here, and we're going to use that to dry it off with. And it seems like a ridiculous thing. I don't really think about what I'm doing. I've done it this way for so long that that's just what I do. And then the 3rd rag is just the ultimate dryer. It's just the final. Then you look around, see if we got any spots or anything. I'm not going to do the back because you can't see it. This is actually a false front for the guest bathroom. Flat surfaces, ragging it on works really good. You can also brush it on. The brush method works faster. The rag method makes your rag more oily faster than if you just brush it on. So it's always good to have yourself a little sandpaper with you, just in case you find a piece of glue or a ding that you don't like. You know what I mean? Or something is like, oh, I have a pencil mark on there. Always have a piece of sandpaper laying around. Oh, hey, everybody. I'm just double checking to make sure that all the little dings and bumps and whatever else that happens to your cabinets when they sit around for a little while. You know how things happen. You just want to make sure that they're all taken care of before we go ahead and stain it. So what I'm going to do, let's go over this medallion first. We'll start in the middle and work our way out because this is the most complicated thing to do. The best way to do this, if you're going to do this, is to spray it with a gun. Put the stain in the gun and spray this, and you'll get it all over the place, which is good, but you also get it all over the place, which is bad. So I'm going to use a brush because I don't like spraying stain. It makes you feel weird and sticky. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start. We're going to start up here on the top. We're going to go around the outside of this medallion. Around the outside, and we're just brushing all this crap in the best we can, really fast. And now we're trying to get all the stuff on the inside. roughly get as much off as we can. Here's where all these little guys come in. And just take this and wrap this around the end of it. You're getting all these little holes here like this. You got to be careful you don't snap the end of it off, because that happens. So medallions are a real pain in the butt. And you can see, it's just, you got to get your fingers in there and try to wipe everything down. Okay, real pain in the neck, right? All right, here's where Mr. Kevin's little trick comes in handy. We got about as much as we're going to get off without having to really dig into it. Okay, so you can see it's all kind of not very good, right? Here's what we're going to do now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this way, that way, and I'm going to cover the front of it like this with this rag, because the spray that'll come off this is going to go right on here. Watch. Sprays on there. What it also does is blows all this crap out of here. Hold on. Okay, it spreads it out and actually dries it out. So, like this leaf here, I'm going to do this. See how the stain came out? Wipe it off. Doing that. See how it pushes out the stain? And after a while, you don't have to hold the rag over it. It's kind of a, it depends on how much you want to do it, how much you want to get sprayed. I've been spraying, look at my arms. Oh, those are my freckles, sorry. All right, so we got up here. We're gonna blow this out. Yeah, it does that, it just blows it into your rag. Do up here. And basically, you go around and do that until it's fairly dry. And there's certain spots you can get to, but like, especially like in these little circly things here, you can kind of blow that out. See, it comes out everywhere. But you got to be careful, and that's why I always take the rag the first couple of times and put it in the way. So when I'm blowing it, it blows it into this instead of all over the place. And there we go. So now we're going to work our way out. 15 minutes. Oh man, that's 15 gigabytes. Okay, so we got all that. Now we're going to work our way out here. So we're going to do the inside of this applique frame. All right. Oh, there's some over here too. So before the camera shuts off, I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me today and watching me stain my shorts on my project. So staining your woodworking project, and here it is. Blowing compressed air into the corners and stuff. Works really good for raised panels, for carvings, medallions, feet. I have to do that over here with this foot too, and a few more things. Sorry. My old putty sticks, I don't know, there's probably a thing on putty sticks somewhere. You see a little angle on that thing? It works pretty good for getting stuff out of corners. You just wrap it with your little towel here. Like that, boom. You get right in the corners. See a little turd it makes on there? But it works really good for getting into tight corners. That works good. And you can also take it and you can do sides of moldings with it if you can't get your finger in there. See how that is? Works good. Up around the edge, and this corner over here, you see you're getting stain off of it all the time. So, yeah, you can use your imagination and do it yourself. If I can do all this, you can do this. I'm not using any special tools. I'm just using my knowledge as being an old man as a woodworker, and I'm spreading that to you. Just the knowledge part, nothing else, I hope. Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you next time right here on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. And you have an awesome day. Go outside and play. Hug somebody you love. Be safe out there. And yeah, thanks for watching. All right. See you soon.
Subscribe now.
And oh, I got him. Yeah, I got another one. I think I inhaled the bug. Man, I ate a lot. Okay, so that's that. The next thing is size. Hold on. Oh, I got him. I got him again. Start over, take 40. I use these 7mm gloves. What? Millimeter. 7mm. Good golly. No wonder my hands don't go in. They're 7mm. So I use quite a different. Okay, there we go. So I use a lot of different brushes. Which time? Oh my God, I'm burning through the time here. We're shooting in 4K today, which is ridiculous.